Continuing our exploration of quantum body, quantum universe, quantum mind, let us explore the nature of fundamental reality. And today's reflection is whether the universe, as we experience it, is the mind of God. And what is that? And why do we want to explore this? I suggest that the mind of God is our highest instinct to know ourselves. So today, if you ask physicists, cosmologists, is the quantum vacuum conscious? Is the quantum vacuum self-aware? Is the quantum vacuum self-regulating? Is the quantum vacuum a single system that governs and constructs and becomes the laws of the universe? Is the quantum vacuum a conscious energy field? Is the quantum vacuum the universal mind? Is the quantum vacuum God, Allah, Brahman, Ein Sof, fundamental reality? So let's explore this. Is the universe, first of all, before I even address those questions, if you ask most mainstream physicists the answer to the questions that I have just brought up, they will say no. They will disagree with everything I've said. Maybe some will agree to the idea that the universe could be a single quantum system. The argument for that is that all of the matter and energy in the universe is made up of quantum particles. And these particles obey the laws of quantum mechanics, which are very different from the laws of classical physics. For example, quantum particles can be in multiple places at once, and they can be entangled with each other, meaning that their properties are linked together, even when they are separated by a large distance. In fact, it doesn't matter how large the distance is. Another argument in favor of the universe being a single quantum system is the Big Bang theory, which suggests that the universe began as a single point, possibly of zero volume and infinite density. If this is the case, then it is possible that the universe is a single quantum system, even though it has expanded and evolved over time. However, according to current physics, there are some challenges to the universe being a single quantum system. One challenge is that quantum mechanics is not very good at describing the behavior of large objects. This is because quantum mechanics is based on the idea that objects can be in multiple places at once, but the idea does not make sense for large objects. Of course, the argument against that is large objects are what appear as perceptual activities from the exploration of the dynamics of the quantum field, which is basically bubbling with virtual particles that appear in and out of existence, manifest existence, as determined by the uncertainty principle. So I have no problem that large objects are actually perceptual activities of quantum phenomena. But never mind that. Another challenge to mainstream physics is that quantum mechanics laws, the laws of quantum mechanics, are probabilistic, meaning that they cannot predict exactly what will happen. the mind of God, is inscrutable. This makes it difficult to apply quantum mechanics to the universe as a whole because we cannot predict the future of the universe with certainty. We can't even predict our next thought with certainty. So that's not a problem either. Despite these challenges, the idea of the universe being a single quantum system is gaining some traction. It could help us to understand some of the puzzling and most puzzling mysteries of the universe, such as the nature of consciousness and the origin of life. Of course, if you think about all this, you will see that there are many philosophical arguments in favor of the universe being a single quantum system. For example, some philosophers argue that the universe must be a single unified whole if it is to be comprehensible to us. They argue that if the universe were made of many separate parts, then it would be impossible for us to understand how it works as a whole. So, is the universe a single quantum system? It seems it is. Is it self-regulating? Can we ask ourselves if the universe is self-regulating? And this is a very important point, because if it is self-regulating, then that suggests that there may be self-awareness. And self-awareness, of course, is punctuated with experience, because that's the only way that the self can know itself. So the self knows itself by generating sensations that are quantum phenomena. And so this is very important to understand. Furthermore, in quantum mechanics, there is probably a room for both the arrow of time and also the reversal of the arrow of time in God's mind. One of the main challenges in understanding this arrow of time in quantum mechanics, again, is that the laws of quantum mechanics are time symmetric. This means that equations of quantum mechanics work just as well if time is reversed. So how can we explain the fact that the universe seems to be moving in a particular direction in time with increasing entropy? One possible explanation is that the arrow of time in quantum mechanics is a statistical phenomenon. This means that the laws of quantum mechanics do not actually favor one direction in time over the other, but that the universe, with its increasing entropy, is simply a consequence of the probabilistic nature of quantum mechanics. And another possible explanation is that the arrow of time in quantum mechanics is due to the measurement process. When we measure a quantum system, we collapse its wave function, which effectively breaks down the time symmetry of the laws of quantum mechanics. This means that the measurement process can create an arrow of time. That as we just measure experience, we create the arrow of time. So these are very difficult questions that science is addressing. There are new theories to explain the arrow of time in quantum mechanics. First, there's the many worlds interpretation that says that all possible outcomes of a quantum measurement occur, each in its own separate universe. This would mean that there is no single arrow of time, but rather an infinite number of arrows, each pointing in a different direction, and therefore creating a different universe in different dimensions of space-time. Then there's something called the transactional interpretation of quantum mechanics that says that every event in the universe is accompanied by a quantum entanglement, which gives them a common arrow of time. The objective collapse theory is another theory that says that the measurement process does not simply collapse the wave function, but actually creates a new reality. This would mean that the arrow of time is not a statistical phenomenon, but is instead a feature of the universe. So, enough ideas to boggle our mind, because our mind cannot comprehend the infinite mind. It can only point to that as the source of existence, but also as the source of all experience of existence. So, if we think that the evolution of the universe began from a point of zero volume, almost zero volume, or zero volume, and infinite density, then in that Big Bang, which was neither big nor did it bang, was the possibility, and what we see from some of the math, the probability of infinite universes. And that's the best model we have, that what we call the quantum field is conscious, is creative, it's self-organizing, it's self-regulating, it's self-evolving, that it is actually the field of awareness that knows itself as you, me, and the entire universe. And that would be God. Okay? That would be God. God is our highest instinct to know ourselves. Quantum mind, quantum body, quantum universe. I'd love your feedback, but if you like, I can explore this even more. Okay? Thank you.